Howdy howdy, my name's Toast, and welcome to part 2 of drawing the Winx girls as if they were in Dungeons & Dragons. If you haven't seen part 1, I covered Bloom, Stella, Flora, and Musa in that one, so if any of those are your favorites, you probably want to check out that video first. And today, we'll be covering Techna, Aisha, and Roxy. I did decide to include Roxy in this lineup. Why, you may ask? Because I hate myself and I want to put more work on me, because why wouldn't I want to do that? You know? I did a lot of rambling in the first part of this video about why I wanted to do this and all of that, so I think for today's video, we will literally just hop right into it with our first member. Alright, we are starting ourselves off here in this video with Techna, our technology queen. A little upsetting to me that she wasn't in the live action, but you know what? The live action was a disappointment in so many ways, and Techna not being in it was one of them. So, you know. Now, for Techna, I'm gonna put this off. I'm gonna say this right now, okay? First of all, for her, like, body type, I guess, because I was trying to vary them slightly. Nothing like crazy, but I was, you know, trying to give them something. You know, they could be skinny, but they can be different kinds of skinny. That's a whole different conversation for another day about the reboot and stuff. Anyway, for Techna, I wanted to give her a more like broad shoulders, you know, sort of shape to her, more wide at the top. And did I also maybe tinily design her to be a trans woman? Maybe, who knows? You know, so if you want to think about her as a trans woman, that'd be really cool, because that's maybe what I was thinking, who knows? Anyway, but for her actual design, obviously, in the show, Techna's very of technology, obviously, and in D&D, there's not like, I mean, D&D is a vast variety of worlds and stuff, so it can be whatever you want, but in the setting that I was specifically putting her in, not like super heavy, crazy technology or anything like that, so I ended up making her more steampunk, quote-unquote-ish. She's not like super steampunk-ish, but you know, it's there. And I ended up giving her, she's got this like underneath bodysuit and these long sort of leggings. I can't remember if I changed these later or not, but at the current moment I know for a fact that I give her this sort of jumpsuit sort of thing. It's like open at the front with these harnesses holding it up on her, sort of like almost electrician vibes. I don't know, I just thought it was fun. And then I was struggling for so long debating, like I wanted to give her shorts because I thought that would be cute, but I could not get the shorts to look right for the life of me, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna like give up and give her pants, you know? And then I'm like, wait, why would I do that when I could just turn her pants that I did like the design of into shorts? Because I'm a genius. So you can see that happening right now as I'm like trying out this pant thing. And I was like, maybe I can make it like they're like tucked into boots. I hated it. So here's where I'm going in, changing them to shorts, adding a little cuff, adding some little patches onto it for funsies. I wanted to give her, since our Techna here is more steampunk, she's probably lugging around some items, so I imagine she's got a sleeper build. You know, I imagine she's actually pretty heavily strong underneath there. You just can't see it yet, you know? Gave her some boots underneath, these like, I don't really know what to call them, boot coverings, stockings maybe, I don't know. But just give her some pretty, you know, nice looking boots underneath there that are definitely steel toe, or, you know, some sort of metal toe, copper, maybe, who knows. And then for her face and her hair, I gave her basically the exact same hair that she has, except I made it like a teensy bit more curly. For these cute sort of slightly downward pointed ears, sort of similar to Flora in the last video, if you haven't seen that. Honestly, aside from the struggles with her shorts and stuff, Techna came together really easily for me. I really liked the way that she came out. I think she looks so cute. I also think that, you know, if I were trying to make her a trans woman, that she captures trans woman energy very well. And maybe you could, like, agree with me on that. That would be really cool. You should do that. But, you know, this is just, like, my headcanon version of Techna, so. And then we're going in here, adding in some details, like the zipper, adding in her laces, some belts, or not belts, but some buckles to the belts, as well as some piping on her top, giving her some earrings to give her a little harness around her legs with some vials of various potion or whatnot, as well as I decided to give her some vials on the strap that's holding her jumper up, as well as giving her a cloth and then what I imagine is a lantern over on the side, you know, so she can see in the dark, because that's probably important work for her. She probably works in pretty cramped spaces and stuff. I think we're gonna hop into color here very soon, and for Techna's colors, I decided to slightly change the purple and the green tone to be less aggressive, because to me, I was just like, this is reading as a lot of synthetic materials and not as real materials that, you know, would be made. And I also decided, here you see I made her jacket the blue and the purple, and then I made the underneath part the green, and I ended up changing that later and swapping the purple and the green places, because I was like, Techna does not have enough green, purple on her right now. She's the purple fairy, not the green fairy. She has green in her, but there's not enough purple, so I do end up changing that later. Adding in some different shades of green, also bringing in some leather bits, because I think that Techna would be someone who would wear a lot of browns, leathers like that, as well as giving her some bronzy shades. That was what I was imagining for her metal bronzy, coppery colors. And going in, adding some details to the boots, all of that fun stuff. Adding in some extra buckles to the straps on her legs and stuff, so adding some details to the rag, deciding to go in now and add in a bunch of, like, stains to her clothing, like she's actually been working, probably like grease stains or oil stains, stuff like that. And, I mean, you know, she's coming together, she's coming together. This is when I'm deciding that, you know, maybe there needs to be a little bit something extra on her outfit, so I decided to give her these, like, I don't really know what to call them, but metal bits around the bottom of the jumpers. I gave her a little armband for funsies. And then we're going in here and designing her wings. And for her wings, I really had, like, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. Like, I don't know if I want to make them look super steampunk. So instead I decided to make them still, like, insecty for her. And I had the bottom wing be this, like, huge, like, trail off at the end, because I thought that looked cool. And, I mean, that is pretty much it for Techna, aside from the fact that we got to color swap her. So here she is. Alright. For our second girl here we're dealing in this video, we've got Aisha or Layla, depending on which version you grew up with. I am fairly certain that I grew up with Aisha, but also my memory's the worst, so maybe I did grow up with Layla. Either way, I prefer the name Aisha, so that's what I'm going to be calling her throughout this video. I think it's very pretty, and I think it suits her better than Layla does. So, you know, you can call her Layla if you want. I'm calling her Aisha. So, for Aisha, I decided to make her a monk. And I made her a monk because she seems very dexterous to me. She's one of the sportier of the, like, she is the sportiest of the girls. She's also, like, super into dance, so I feel like, you know, since she's sporty and into, like, dance and stuff, doing her as a monk made more sense than doing her as a different martial class, like a barbarian or something. So I went with monk, and doing her pose, it took me so long to get her pose right, but that's besides the point. I did decide to make her, and I'm really bad at this so it does not show up well, but I did decide to make her a little muscular. You know, she's got abs and stuff. Do I need to practice drawing muscular people? Yes. You know, maybe we'll make a whole video about me drawing muscular people, but for today, you're gonna have to just imagine that she's muscular and that I did a really good job. Now, for her outfit, I wanted to go with, obviously, she's a monk. Monks are all, like, they kind of all look like they wear the exact same thing to me. Maybe you can tell the difference, but to me, I'm just like, it's baggy pants and maybe a bandage at the top, you know, or something like that. They kind of all look the same to me, but I tried to mix in some other inspirations aside from just monkiness of baggy clothing. I tried to go in with a little bit of, she's black, so I took some inspiration from African culture. Do I know exactly which African culture she's supposed to be, like which country she's supposed to be based off of? No, maybe she's not even African. Maybe she's American. Maybe she's European. I literally don't know. So I just decided to go with a homogenous mix of African cultures. I didn't take from any country specifically. I just looked at a bunch of different African clothing. Do I think it came across very well? No. She kind of just still looks like a monk, like typical monk wear. So, but I didn't think her outfit was as egregious as Musa's, so I decided not to redo it. I was also like, these three girls right here, I was pulling my hair out with these. I was like, I'm so ready for this to be done. So, apologies if Aisha does not live up to your standard. I'm sorry. I will say, she kind of looks like her boyfriend, her first boyfriend before he dies. She kind of looks like him to me in the end, but you know, that's fine. So, you know, just pretty chill monk outfit. I think the best part of her outfit comes together in the coloring, because I make some of her stuff look very like waves. Obviously, she's the fairy of the sea, of waves. Not the fairy of the sea, she's the fairy of waves, specifically, I think. Very weird to me. Why she's the fairy of the waves and not the sea, but, you know, whatever. For her hair, I gave her bangs. Pretty chill, you know, nothing crazy. And then, I couldn't decide if I wanted her hair to be down. I decided not to put her hair down, because I was like, that feels like it would be really annoying to deal with when you're running around all over the place. And I think this is the main reason why she ends up looking like her boyfriend, is because I give her this, like, one really long braid. So you can see I was kind of playing around with maybe giving her long hair. I decided not to. So I imagine she's got like a sort of braid bun at the back with like this really long braid coming out of it. So that's what I did hair-wise for her. You can disagree with me if you want. I was debating on maybe giving her like a bunch of braids, like maybe cornrows or like dreads, or locks, excuse me. But I decided not to do that just because her hair in the show is more wavy than it is afro textured, so, or coily, I guess would be the term. So I decided to keep it like that. Although in the reboot, actually, she does wear locks, so I guess I could have done whatever I wanted to. But this is what I did. So, you know, maybe I would change it. I don't know. Also, I like that I did all of that, like trying to make her look muscular and stuff, and then it's just all hidden by her outfit. I could have like put her abs on display or something, that would have been cool, but I opted not to. I feel like I could go back and redo Aisha's design and come up with something more interesting and specific, so I apologize if Aisha is your favorite, and I just did not give her the love and care that she needed, you know, and that, I will say, that's definitely something that the last two girls, Aisha and Roxy, could have had with some more love in their design. Going with coloring, I do decide to make her green a little more bluey green instead of the green that she has, just because I thought it would be more, it would separate her out from the other girls that wear green, because a lot of this party wears green and pink, you know, and I just think that's so crazy to me. Like, there's a lot of other colors, okay? There's only one fairy that wears blue. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up putting some blue in her design as well, because she is the fairy of the waves, and so I gave her on her little, like the ribbons or bandages that are around her legs, I decided to make those look like they have these like sort of shredded, I guess, edges to make it look like waves. So I gave it a lighter color to look like foam of the sea. I gave her some typical, you know, jewelry that you see on monks, the big beads and stuff. Decided to give her in the tertiary color pink, since pink is one of her colors, you know, that iconic pink lip gloss that she wears, you know. So I decided to keep that in there, but I made it like a very, very minor color compared to the greens and this sort of blue color. Sort of bluey gray, but it's there. I also went in and added this sort of wave pattern onto it, like when you're looking down at the surface of water and you see like the ripples, that's what I added to that. And I added some patterning onto the green bits itself as well, just to make it some more interesting, because that's one of the things that I mainly noticed when looking at a lot of African designs was bright colors and patterns. So, I mean, at least in that aspect, I think I did decently well. I probably could have brought in more patterns, but I'm really bad at patterns. It's something I really need to work on in my designs. I try to incorporate them in like most of my designs, because clothes in real life have patterns, and I'm not doing this for animation, it's for a one-off drawing, so I can put as many patterns and interesting things on there as I would like. So that's sort of what I was going for that. And then going in, I decided to give her makeup, because she, you know, she already wears the pink lip gloss, you know what I'm saying? She probably wears eyeshadow as well. And then I think really the main last thing, aside from adding a few little extra texturing details here to her outfit, is her wings, which I decided to make them shaped like waves or the ocean, you know? Thought that would distinguish her from the other girls very well and give her a unique wing design that none of the other girls had. I also decided to keep her wings where she only had the top portion instead of a top and a bottom. Similar to Bloom, I guess. And with that, Aisha is pretty much done. Last up, and unfortunately probably least, I highly doubt that there's many fans of Roxy out there, considering she was introduced so late into the season, or into the show. So for any of you who weren't aware, yes, there is a 7th member of the gang. Her name is Roxy. She is, spoiler alert, the last fairy on Earth, and she is the fairy of animals. Now, the reason I decided to include Roxy in this was, again, like I said at the beginning of this video, because I hate myself and I wanted to put myself into more work. No, the actual reason that I included Roxy in this is because when I was thinking about this entire concept of creating the Winx Club girls, or redesigning them as if they were in a D&D setting, Roxy was, honestly to God, one of the first characters that I thought about. Because I was so, like, I was sitting there thinking of all the girls, and I was like, oh, duh, Roxy's gonna be a ranger. And so when I thought that, I was like, well, I guess Roxy's being included now. I think Roxy might have been the first girl that I thought about, was making her, because she's so obviously a ranger. Fairy of animals, you know, it's there. So I imagine that she's probably like a beastmaster or something. She probably has a pet. I wanted to give her a pet, but I was kind of so tired from drawing these girls that I was like, I have no interest in drawing an animal right now. I'm bad at drawing animals. There we go. Another video idea. I gotta draw muscle people and I gotta draw animals. Maybe not in the same video. Or I could draw muscly animals. My next video, guys, is gonna be me drawing muscular furry. Okay. Sorry, I know what my next video is. It's not that. It's not. Maybe I will draw muscular furries, but not today. Let's get on to talking about Roxy. How about that? So, for Roxy here, I kind of didn't do anything crazy with her outfit. She's kind of just a ranger. I mean, that's literally it. I took a little bit of inspiration because, like, looking at her actual design, she's definitely a little more punk-ish than the other girls. I wouldn't call her a full-on punk, but she's definitely a little more alternative than the other girls. She's got these cool, tall, like, platform boots that I didn't keep because I felt like that would be not the best move for a ranger. She's got, like, these chains hanging from her, so, you know, she's a little more punk. She's, like, girly punk, you know. So I decided to try and keep a little bit of that within her design. Here I'm trying out a skirt. I don't like the way it looks, so I get rid of it later. She's one of the only girls that I gave a weapon. I decided to give her a bow. It doesn't look like anything special. I didn't design anything crazy for it. But she's got a bow, you know. She is a ranger, so she's got range, you know what I'm saying? I decided to go and give her a hood. I don't ever give characters hoods. If I can avoid giving a character a hood or a hat, I will. Because I like drawing hair. That's a lie. I don't like drawing hair. But I hate drawing hats more, I think. So this was a big surprise for me, giving her a hood. But I wanted to keep the, like, I know that she's not wearing a jacket. She is wearing a shirt over a long sleeve shirt. But I don't know, there was something about it that was giving me, like, cropped jacket energy. So I decided to go with that vibe. I imagine that she's, like, all in leathers. All of this is various leathers. A little fucked up if she's the fairy of animals and then all of her clothing is leather, huh? I didn't really think about that. Well, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Maybe it's all the muscular furries. What? I'm sorry, this last voiceover is an actual nightmare. Moving on. I gave her a lot of buckles, belts, because I felt like those were very punk. That's when I was a kid, that's me. I was like, punk in my head was wearing a bunch of belts and buckles, which is very funny because I am alternative in the way that I dress and everything. But when I was a kid, my thought process was not it. And today, still to this day, I'm like, yeah, belts and buckles. That'll make everything look way more punk. I could have given her, like, animal bones on her design, to be honest with you. That would have been cool. But maybe more morbid than the leathers. So, it's fine. It's vegan leather made out of mushrooms, actually. Flora made it for her. Yeah, I just gave her pretty basic hair. I gave her bangs. I didn't really, because obviously, like, her hair is in her hood, so I just decided it's probably, like, pulled up in a bun, the back of her head. And I don't know what else to say. This is Roxy for you. Here she is. Deciding her on her colors, though, that was a tough time. Her colors are so bright, and I'm like, if you're a ranger, your colors are not gonna be this bright, girl. You gotta, like, blend in with your surroundings. And maybe if I had thought ahead and was like, yeah, they're in the Feywild, then all the bright colors would have made sense. But no, I didn't think that for it. So I toned her colors down, which is, you know, I would do that anyway, to be honest with you, because I'm not the biggest fan of bright colors. I'm a dull color kind of kind of person. So I went with a mixture of these deep purpley pinkish colors with some green, it's white, but it's honestly more of like a pale pink, and then some black for her pants. I could have honestly made her pants green too. I was thinking about that because I feel like she has a lot of pink on her designs, but unless she's in a forest that has a lot of pink, she probably needs more green on her design. But, you know, it's fine. Maybe there's a lot of low-lying pink plants, and I'm deciding that right now. I can decide what the characters wear, and I can decide what environment they live in. And so they live in an environment with a lot of low-lying pink plants. And honestly, I mean, that's really mainly just it for Roxy's, you know, design. I didn't go anything crazy with her. I gave her a little bit of makeup, gave her some dark lipstick, because I thought that was a little more punk. I think my version is a little more punk than the actual version. Oh, and then we're going in and adding patterns. I forgot I did this. I really like the patterns that I gave. There was just like this one beautiful cloak that I was looking at for inspiration that had these beautiful like patterns on it, and so I tried to make hers look a little bit like fernish looking, you know, blended in with those surroundings. And then I gave her pants that were half plain and then half striped because that was, God, I wanted pants like that so bad when I was in high school. Like emo-y. Ooh, I wanted pants like that so bad. But I didn't get any, unfortunate. And then for her wings, I modeled them after her regular wings, the little heart things, which I think is kind of cute with the bow kind of thing. Kind of gives Cupid vibes. And I mean, that's it for Roxy. With Roxy all done, gang, that brings us to the end of this video and to the end of this two-part series of turning the Winx girls into maybe what they would look like if they were in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, or at least my version of Dungeons and Dragons. I had honestly thought about doing a fourth member for the second video just to even it out, and then I realized I already put so much work on myself. I shouldn't put more. But I had a lot of thoughts about other characters I could do. I could do the specialists, that might be kind of hard considering that a lot of them kind of would just be like fighters. You got like one monk, maybe like a ranger or something. But so I thought about maybe the specialist. I thought I could possibly do Daphne as the fourth member, you know, but brewing up some ideas and stuff. But I think I'm happy with the 7 girls that we did, and I'm decently happy, I would say, with all of their designs. I honestly, if I had to pick a favorite design out of all of them, I don't know who I would pick. I do like the way Stella came out, but I don't know. I think Stella and Flora might actually be the two that I like the most. I'm not sure though, although I do actually really like Techna too. So I don't know. You can let me know what your favorite version was, and you can kindly let me know which was your least favorite. Maybe if I didn't get a character right, if you think that I didn't have crazy enough ideas or whatever, you can let me know that in the comment section below. That'd be greatly appreciated. Any feedback or critique is much wanted, you know, trying to improve ourselves. So thank you so much for watching this video and watching, I assume, the first video as well. I really appreciate it. I don't know if you noticed, but those were my first 2 videos on this channel. And, you know, it would really mean a lot to me if you could maybe subscribe, like, you know, comment, do all of that fun stuff. Maybe recommend me to your friends if they're super into Winx Club or D&D, or neither yet. But thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my next video, which I should already have others up on the channel if you want to see more of my artwork. I also, if you are interested, I do have a VGen, which is a commission website, in case you're interested in commissioning, but please don't feel any pressure to. Greatly appreciate you watching this video. That's honestly amazing that you watched, so thank you so much. And I guess I will perhaps see you on the flip side. So, goodbye everybody, have a good day!